A struggling single dad named Ethana working odd jobs to care for his young daughter stumbles upon a farmer's broken-down shed during one of his job hunts. He meets Clara, a humble woman dressed plainly, who asks if he can help repair it. Ethan agrees, thinking it's just another small handyman task. As Ethan works on the shed, his daughter Lily bonds with Clara. Clara seems unusually kind, offering food, water, and warmth, and even shares advice about perseverance. Ethan still believes she's just a modest farmer with small land. Clara quietly observes Ethan's resilience, kindness, and humility. She tests him with more chores on her land, all the while keeping her true identity hidden. Ethan starts to wonder why such a small-time farmer has so much generosity. The morning sun was only beginning to rise when Ethan stirred awake, his worn-out alarm clock buzzing weakly on the nightstand beside him. His one-bedroom rental smelled faintly of last night's instant noodles, and the air was chillier than it should have been. He rubbed his tired eyes, rolled to the side, and listened. From the other end of the room, the soft sound of his daughter Lily's breathing filled the silence. She was curled up under a blanket too small for her growing frame, her little stuffed rabbit clutched tightly in her arms. Ethan sighed. Another day, another job to chase. Being a single dad hadn't been his plan, but life had a way of reshaping futures. When Lily's mother had walked out 2 years ago, he had been left with nothing but a toddler, a mountain of bills, and the relentless determination that he would not fail as a father. He had no steady work now. Odd jobs kept him afloat, just enough to cover rent and groceries. Stability was something he dreamed of but never touched. He quietly got dressed, pulling on jeans with thin knees and a flannel shirt that had seen better years. He filled a thermos with lukewarm coffee, grabbed 2 slices of bread for Lily's breakfast, and gently shook her awake. "Come on, sunshine," he whispered. "Time to rise." Lily stirred, her curly hair spilling across her face. She smiled at him groggily. "Daddy, a broken bar is today a work day?" He chuckled, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "Every day's a work day, kiddo, but maybe today's the day we get something good." They shared the bread, and after getting Lily ready, Ethan bundled her into his rusted pickup truck. The vehicle coughed and sputtered but managed to start, a small miracle in itself. He drove down winding country roads, scanning for any help-wanted signs or neighbors needing repairs. Around mid-morning, they passed a stretch of farmland. The golden field seemed endless, but at the far corner, a small shed leaned dangerously to one side, its roof sagging and boards splitting. Ethan slowed the truck instinctively. A woman was there, struggling to hammer something into the rotting wood. Ethan pulled over. "Stay here, Lily," he said, kissing her forehead. He walked over, his boots crunching on gravel. The woman turned. She was maybe in her 40s, with weathered hands and sun-browned skin. Her hair, streaked with silver, was tied back under a plain cap. She looked at him with surprise, then relief. "Morning," Ethan called. "Looks like you've got trouble with that shed." The woman gave a rueful laugh. "That's putting it mildly. This old thing's about to collapse. I've been meaning to fix it, but I'm no carpenter." "I can take a look," Ethan offered. "I've done repairs here and there." "No promises, but I'll do better than nails sticking out." She studied him for a moment, then nodded. "I'd be grateful." "My name's Clara, Ethan," he replied, extending a calloused hand. Her grip was firm. He fetched his small toolbox from the truck. Half the tools were mismatched or dulled from years of use and began examining the shed. The foundation was weak, but not beyond saving. With reinforcement, new panels, and patience, it could stand again. Clara stood nearby, watching him work. Lily eventually came out of the truck, curious, and Clara bent down to greet her. "And who's this little one?" "This is Lily," Ethan said, glancing up from measuring a warped beam. "She goes everywhere with me." Lily beamed shyly. Clara smiled warmly. "Well, Lily, I could use a helper to hand out cookies. Do you think you can help with that?" Ethan's chest softened at the kindness. Most people frowned at him dragging his daughter along to job sites, but Clara seemed to welcome her presence. Lily giggled and followed Clara toward the farmhouse, where Ethan could smell fresh baked bread wafting from the open window. As Ethan hammered nails into the new frame, sweat trickled down his back, but it felt good to be doing something with purpose. He wasn't being judged here. He wasn't being pitied, just useful. Hours passed. Clara returned with food, a sandwich and cold lemonade for Ethan, and milk and cookies for Lily. She sat with them during the break, chatting lightly. "So, do you do this for a living?" she asked. "Handyman work, odd jobs, whatever comes along," Ethan said honestly. "I'm still trying to find something steady, but it's tough." Clara nodded thoughtfully, her gaze drifting to Lily, who was laughing as crumbs fell on her lap. "Steady can be overrated. What matters is heart and showing up when it counts." Her words struck him in a way he didn't expect. He tucked them away, like a small treasure. By late afternoon, the shed was already looking sturdier. Ethan wiped the sawdust from his arms and leaned against the wall, exhausted but proud. Clara examined the repairs, nodding approvingly. "You've done more in a few hours than I've managed in months," she said. "How much do I owe you?" Ethan hesitated. He hadn't thought about payment, he'd just stopped to help. But he needed money, badly. Rent was due in 5 days. "Whatever you think is fair," he said, his voice careful. Clara studied him, as though measuring more than his work. She handed him a folded bill more than he expected and said softly, "Sometimes, the right people cross paths for reasons we don't see yet." Ethan accepted it with gratitude, not realizing that this small job would soon change the course of his life. That evening, as the sky turned orange and Lily fell asleep in the truck on the way home, Ethan kept replaying Clara's words. He didn't know who she really was, didn't know that her farmland stretched beyond the horizon. All he knew was that he had met someone whose kindness felt like a door opening, and for a man who had spent years staring at closed ones, that was everything.